Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys of Magic. This is Hunter and Shane. Say what up, Shane.
What up, nerds?
We're coming at you this time. We're going to take a look at Shane's $100 upgrade to Forces of the Imperium. That's the Warhammer 40K Precon deck. So let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. Shane, let's talk about the commander and what the deck kind of wants to do.
Let's do it, bud. Well, the face commander of this deck is Inquisitor Greyfax, and they are one, a white, a blue, and a black. For a 3/3 human Inquisitor, they have Vigilance and Unquestionable Wisdom that says other creatures you control get +1/+0 and have Vigilance. They also have Hunt for Heresy. Pay 1, tap target creature and opponent controls, investigate. So you get to create a clue token, sacrifice a clue token, for 2, draw a card. So that card is really cool, and this whole entire deck was very, very cool. The minute that you were telling me about these, that when they were announced, I think you know this. I went out and bought it immediately, and I bought the collector version of this deck, dude. So I'm
Uh,
all in on this deck. I'm all in. I know
I'm
nothing about
excited.
40k,
I'm excited to see you play it in paper. It's gonna be
dude.
cool.
That's what I'm saying. The only downside that I just thought about now that I bought it in collector, all my upgrades have to be foil, so that's gonna suck. But moving on, with this upgrade, will not be sticking with Inquisitor Greyfax, sadly, because there is a new sheriff in town, and that is Marneus Calgar. And this dude is nuts, Hunter. He's
Tell me about
nuts.
him.
Okay, I'm going to right now. He's 2 colorless, a white, a blue, and a black, for a 3/5 with double strike. He's an Star Piece Warrior. I'm sorry, 40k people are literally, I think I mentioned in your video, I'm going to butcher every single one of these names. I have no idea what I'm saying. So I'm going to call it an Astartes Warrior. Okay? He has Master Tactician that says whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card. He also has Chapter Master. Pay 6, create 2/2 white Astartes warrior creature tokens with vigilance. Now, this card is bonkers, Hunter, and I'm going to tell you why. It's goddamn bonkers, dude.
Tell me.
They're, dude, you know how Magic always does the stupid thing where they add safety valves to cards?
Yes.
They didn't do it this time, and I'm really excited. There's a tiny, tiny, tiny safety valve when it's the whole like when one or more, so it's not every token that enters the battlefield.
Right.
Let's say you make like a group of them come in at once, you're still drawing one. But if you're making multiple groups at a time, you'll be getting a card every time. And it's also any token, so it's not a creature. It's not just a creature. It could be when you make a clue. It could be when you make an artifact token. It could be maybe a treasure. Every time you do this, you're drawing a card, dude, and it's gonna get out of hand. It also has double strike. That's nothing to scoff at. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, 6 damage. Pretty good.
Dude, 6 damage. But either way, it's all about the text in the card, dude. That's all I gotta say.
All right, so Marneus Calgar seems like a pretty powerful creature. Let's go ahead and see what you added to make this deck even better.
Yep. So with the Marneus Calgar at the head of your deck, you're obviously probably thinking, yeah, you're gonna be making tokens. And you're right, I'm making tokens, dude. So we're going around a token strategy deck. In this deck, by default, they have a lot of cards that have squad. And I really completely forgot about squad as mechanic. But you can pay, you know, some amount of mana as many times as you want for some of these creatures, and they'll make copies of themselves. So that alone, like those cards that are default in there, those are amazing cards. They're just all getting kept in there. Squad, amazing. But we're gonna just double down on this token generation, and right off the bat, I'm gonna show you a combo, Hunter.
Oh, starting off with a combo. Tell me
Starting
about
off
it.
with, dude, I'm not a combo guy, but this deck, I got super excited looking at this deck, dude, because there's some cards in here that I want to talk about, and those cards would be the Dark Kraken and Ashnod's Altar, dude. Those two cards together, they might not go. I mean, they actually do go infinite. I'm not gonna tell you why. You got your commander out, and the Dark Kraken says it's a 1, a blue, and a blue for a 2/3. It's a Kraken, and it says whenever you draw a card, you may pay 1, and if you do, you put a +1/+1 on the Dark Kraken, and you create a 1/1 tentacle creature token. So there you go. Immediately, without anything, when you do this event, you're gonna be drawing a card, and then putting a counter, and then drawing a card, putting a counter. As long as you can pay that extra 1, and where things get really cool You get Ashnod's Altar on the field, 3 mana for an artifact. Sacrifice a creature, add 2 colors to your mana pool. So now you can have the creature come in, sacrifice it. With the token, draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on the Dar. He makes a token, sacrifice the token he makes to Ashnod's Altar. You get 2. You pay the. You're going to be drawing a card. Pay the 1. You loop this over and over and over and over. It's ridiculous, dude.
So you're drawing your whole deck.
You could potentially draw your whole deck and make the Dark Kraken as big as you want, but you're probably just drawing, as much as you want. And I mean, I didn't put it in there because this is the 100 list, and I didn't want to be super mean. But I mean, yeah, you easily get like the combos that you hate, Hunter, and you win. So that little combo is only really worrying about his top part of the text, which is the whole when a token comes in, draw a card, blah blah blah. This next part that I was looking at, this is going to be more about the second part of the card that is on him. The second part of his card, I mean. The whole pay 6, make 2. So you can have Anointed Processions out, which is 3 and a white. It's an enchantment, and if an effect would create one or more tokens under your control, it creates twice as many of those tokens. So right there, you're making a shitload of tokens out of him. And then if you have Heartstone on the battlefield, for 3 mana, it's an artifact. The cost of each creature ability requiring an activation cost is reduced by 1. So, and then it also can't go below 1. So if it was 1, it can't go to 0. But all that's saying now is that his ability that costs 6 only costs 5. And so with Anointed Processions on the field, when you pay your 5, you'll create 4 2/2 Vigilance tokens, right? And if you have Ashnod's Altar on the field, you can sacrifice them and make more than the 5, and then just continually do this. So you'll make, I think eventually when you're done with the loop, you'll make a shitload of tokens. You have some tokens on the field, and you'll have, again, infinite mana. You can just rip through your deck. You can do some cool shit. You can just go crazy with this dude. It's nuts.
Go wide, draw your whole deck.
Dude,
Got a
it's
different
like, what
crazy
else?
combos, man.
Yeah, what else do you want to do, bro? So that's just the part I was really excited about. I just want to get that out of the way first. This looks super fun.
All right. So besides the super crazy combos,
Yeah.
what else are we putting in the deck?
So we got a grip of enchantments here that are just going to be caring about creating creatures, creating tokens, and drawing cards. So we're going to be putting in Felidar Retreat. Felidar Retreat is 3 and a white for an enchantment that has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. Create a 2/2 white cat beast creature token, or put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain vigilance to end the turn. So that's pretty cool, meaning you can either make a cat, draw a card off your commander, or then put counters on your existing tokens. So again, this is just a go wide strategy. You're just building your board up, drawing cards. It's nuts. And I'm also going to put Smothering Tithe in, dude. 3 and a white for an enchantment. Everyone has this card. It's if you're playing white, it's in your deck. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If that player doesn't, you create a treasure token. So what that's saying now, dude, I could just say, you want to pay the 2? And if you don't, I make a treasure and I draw a card, dude.
So when an opponent draws a card, you draw a card.
Yep. It's
That's
nuts.
pretty. Smothering Tithe goes really well in this deck.
It's amazing, dude. I had to squeeze it in. Even in the $100 list, I had to squeeze it in. Then we got another enchantment, Open the Graves. 3, a black and a black for an enchantment that says, whenever a non-token creature you control dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So this is just kind of ensuring that when you do play your creatures that aren't tokens and they do die, they're going to come back as tokens. And guess what? When they do, you're going to draw cards. And then last but certainly not least, this card is bonkers. Teferi's Ageless Insight. 2 and a blue and a blue for a legendary enchantment. If you would draw a card except for the first you draw each of your draw steps, you draw 2 cards instead. So now obviously, you draw your 1 for your turn. And then every time you're drawing cards off of your commander from tokens coming into the play, you're drawing more. So you're drawing so many freaking cards in this deck, dude.
That's a lot of cards with Teferi's Edge's Insight, man.
Yeah, dude. It's gonna be nutty. Nutty, dude.
Yeah, with that with Smothering Tithe. Hey, do you wanna pay the 2, or do I get to draw 2 cards and make a treasure?
I'm telling you, dude, I'm so excited about this deck, dude.
So what are some of the creatures you're throwing in here too?
Yeah, a lot of these creatures are just going to be dealing with creating things, creating tokens for that matter, because, obviously your commander gives a lot of shit about tokens, right? So we're
Oh
going to be
yeah.
throwing in Ogre Slumlord, 3, a black and a black for a 3/3 Ogre Rogue. Whenever a non-token creature dies, I get to create a 1/1 black rat creature token. Rats you control have Death Touch. So now, again, the enchantment you saw, when they die, you get the zombie. This one's going to give you a rat that has Death Touch. So you get to draw a card, you get a Death Touching thing now. Like, that's really good in my opinion, dude. Another one is Pawn of Ulamog. One, a black and a black for a 2/2 Vampire Shaman. Whenever Pawn of Ulamog or another non-creature token you control dies, I may create a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature. It's got the thing where you can like sacrifice this creature, add some mana. So hey, when a creature dies, now they turn into mana source, and you also draw a card. So all these things, when your creatures die, it'll be letting you draw a card, and then hopefully helping you in the future, right? So you're not too sad when your things die.
You're happy. You've
Yeah,
got
it's
you've
like,
got a little smirk. Oh, my thing died, but I draw a card.
oh no, sad, dude. And another one, we got Chasm Skulker. It's 2 and a blue for a 1/1. This is kind of like the Nadar Kraken a little bit. It's a squid horror. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Chasm Skulker. And when Chasm Skulker dies, create X 1/1 blue squid creature tokens with Island Walk, where X is the number of 1/1 counters it had. So this one's cool because it'll get pretty big, and then when it dies, you will make probably a big lump sum of creatures. Now, sadly, your commander will only trigger the one time because it is the whole one or more. That's the little stipulation they put that I was talking about. So you won't draw a card on every one of these, but you'll draw a card at least once, and then you potentially have a bunch of creatures that, I mean, let's be honest, blue is very common, and when your creatures are going against someone with blue, they can't block them. So now you're just swinging in.
That's terrifying.
It's terrifying. Another one I'm putting in there is God Eternal Oketra. It is 3, a white and a white for a 3/6 zombie god. They have Devil Strike, and it says, whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 4/4 black zombie warrior creature with vigilance. And if this guy were to die, exile it from your battlefield and then put it into your library third from the top. So it never really goes away. But the cool thing here, now all of your creature spells also create you a token, which is also going to draw you cards. So every card in your hand is now cantripping. That's nuts.
That is pretty nuts.
Another one we're going to throw in there is Voldaren Bloodcaster. 1 and a black for a 2/1 vampire wizard with flying. Whenever they enter the battlefield or another non-creature token you control dies, I'm going to create a blood token. If you don't remember what a blood token is, it's kind of a bad token, but it's still a token. You could pay 1, tap it, discard a card, and sacrifice it, draw a card. So it's weird. What's it called? Rummaging? I forgot what it's called when you have to discard first. But either way, it does that. They also say whenever you create a blood token, if you control 5 or more blood tokens, transform her, and she'll flip. And on the backside, she is a 3/3 flying vampire. At the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 target blood token you control because of 2/2 bat flying with haste. So, I mean, I guess now if you don't want to be cracking your blood, they'll eventually turn into little flyers. That's cool. But the front part's the cool part. And last, it's not a creature, but I wanted to throw in a planeswalker that kind of did what I want to be doing, which is pretty cool. And this is Kaya Geist Hunter. She's 1, a white, a black for a 3 loyalty starting planeswalker. Her +1 is creatures you control gain Death Touch until end of turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control. That's pretty cool. The -2 is what you care about, though, dude. Until end of turn, if 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. So now, again, it's almost like the what's it called? Anointed Procession a little bit, to where if you're making tokens now, you're going to be doubling them. And if you have an Astronaut's Altar, that's just more things for you to feed into it, make more token or make more colorless mana. That's really cool. Each also has a minus. Exile all cards from all graveyards, then create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying for each card exiled that way. That's cool. I mean, if I'm not imagining I'm ever getting rid of 6, dude. I'm gonna be plussing her up, and then maybe minusing her, and then I'm gonna be plussing her up, and maybe minusing her. Like, that's all I care about is that minus.
Yeah. All right. I really like those additions, but it looks like you added a couple more lands.
Yeah, dude, I did what everyone always does when we're playing Magic in Commander. I added all of the Commander lands, dude. What are they called? Bond? I
Nice.
added all the Bond lands, yeah.
All the bond land in your color.
Yep. So Vault of Champions, Morphic Pool, and Sea of Clouds. They all come in tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents, but guess what? I always have 2 or more opponents. So now you have access to white, black, blue, black, and white, blue.
You've got friends
I have friends, dude.
or enemies at
Friends.
this point.
That's true. I only have opponents.
I love those additions. I'm very terrified of those cards when we play our Precon upgrade. But now's the part where you have to make room for it. What are we taking out?
Well, I'll start off by saying once again, I think you said this. I think David said this. Thing. Steven said this. I want to apologize for cutting and making anyone's feelings hurt. I also want to say that out of the box, this thematically looks awesome, and I would almost say that we should all play these decks without doing these upgrades, just because these cards are like a lot of these cards are only printed for this deck, you know. So like we should kind of look at those cards and play with them. But then at the end of the day, we made the deck even cooler. So let's get these cards out of there. All right, so we're gonna just kind of fire through these and then talk about them real quick. But we're gonna be cutting Primaris Eliminator, and they are a Startease, the one I couldn't pronounce, warrior, 4 in a black for a 3/2. It says when they enter the battlefield, choose one. You can either destroy target creature, or a creature target player controls get -2/-2 till end of turn. It seems pretty cool for that effect. It is super expensive though, honestly, like 5 mana for that effect. Like what the hell? There are way cheaper ways to kill creatures, so we cut it out. Another one we're gonna cut is Redemptor Dreadnought. 5 mana for a 4/4 Astartes Dreadnought artifact creature. It has Fallen Warrior. As an additional cost for this cast this spell, you can exile a creature card from your graveyard. Trample. It also has Plasma Incinerator. Whenever Redemptor Dreadnought attacks, if a card is exiled with it, it gets +X/+X. Plan a turn where X is its power in the exiled creature card or the exiled card. Yeah, it's a cool card. I think a lot of the cards that I'm cutting that I'm going to talk about right now, if they don't have the word squad on it or care about making tokens, they're going to be coming out. So this didn't care about either of them, and it's coming out, even though it looks cool. All this art, I'm very sad to get rid of these art. They're super cool. Another one is Sister of Silence, 4 and a blue for a 3/3 human knight, not an Astartes, crazy. It's got flash and it's got Psychic Abomination. When Sister of Silence enters the battlefield, counter target instant spell or sorcery spell or activated ability or triggered ability. Yeah, that's a lot of ors. I probably should have said that. But either way, it does a lot of countering. It's a very, very, very expensive counter. I guess you get the 3/3 body after the fact, but no. Another one we're gonna get rid of is Belisarius Call. It is 2 and a white and a blue for a 2/4 human artifact creature. It has tap, and you can tap 2 untapped artifacts you control. Create a 2/2 white Astartes warrior creature token with vigilance. So that's making a token. But it also has tap X untapped creatures you control. Look at the top X cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them, put it on your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library, and random. It does. Okay, so I'm already going back on what I said. It does make a token, but you have to tap some untapped stuff, and I don't know. The ones that I feel like the things that I did add, they make your tokens a little easier. So I just got it out of there, regardless of how cool it looks. This could be a commander on its own. You know, maybe someone might make a commander out of that. That'd be cool. A couple other things we're getting rid of is Grey Knight Paragon and Thunderwolf Cavalry. Grey Knight Paragon is 4 and a white for a 4/4 Astartes Knight. It has flash and it says when the Grey Knight enters the battlefield, destroy target attacking creature. If the creature is a demon, exile instead. So I think this card was put in there because another card that's coming in the set is a demon, right?
Demon Tribal. That's what David's
Right?
running.
Yes, exactly. So that's cool. So they might be really good against each other. But it's just, you're only going to be killing one creature and it has to be attacking. I feel like there's better spot removal there, and it's just not making a token, man. So we got it out of there. And then Thunderwolf Cavalry, like I said, is 4 and a white for a 4/4 Astartes Warrior. It's got first strike, and it says whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on each other creature you control. So I guess it kind of can pump up your team a little bit. 5 mana. I guess you can see too a lot of these cards that I'm cutting. I cut a lot of the higher end of the deck So I made the mana curve much, much lower. So I just cut it out of there to make room for the token boys.
The token boys. I
Token
like it.
boys, bruh. All right, another one we're getting rid of is Triumph of Saint Catherine. 4 and a white for a 5/5 human warrior. It has lifelink, and it says when the Triumph of the Saint whatever dies, exile it and the top 6 cards of your library in a face down pile. If you do, shuffle that pile and put it back on top of your library. So I guess you could potentially put it back on top real quick because it does have a miracle cost. And a miracle, I guess there was a little pseudo miracle sub theme going on in this deck, but I just cut it because it didn't make me my token boys. Another one is Sister Repentia, 3 mana, a white and a black for a 5/1 human warrior. And it says when it dies, you can gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. And it has a miracle cost of a white and a black. So that's pretty crazy. It's statted really aggressively. I'm guessing it blocks. I guess you could use it to block, right? Because doesn't have haste. But I don't know. Again, the miracle sub theme, I kind of just cut them, even though they'll gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. It does seem kind of cool. And I mean, if you're doing that turn 2, that seems way better than turn 5. But I don't know. I got rid of it to make room. And then the last 2 creatures that I wanted to cut out of here are Primaris Chaplain and Zephyrim. Primaris Chaplain is 2, a white, and a black for a 3/3 Astartes Cleric. It has Battle Cry, and it says whenever he attacks, it gains indestructible to end a turn. So that's kind of cool. And Battle Cry is whenever this creature and each other attacking creature gets +1/+0. So it kind of buffs your team up that's attacking. I can see a argument for that if you're doing token strategy. So that was kind of a iffy cut in my opinion, but for the other cards that I was adding, I had
Token
to
boys.
I had to make room for token boys. Even though this could pump your token boys, and if you're doing this upgrade and you like that card, keep it in for all. Well, yeah, keep it in. Fine. And then the Zephyrum, 3 and a white for a 3/3 human warrior. This one does have squad. The thing I said I wasn't cutting. It also has flying and vigilance, and then the miracle. It's mainly out of there because of the miracle. Even though it has the squad too, I'm imagining that if I don't miracle this and then squad it, it's just so expensive. You get like if you don't miracle it, you're paying 4, and then on top of that, 2 more, and then hopefully 2 more because you want to make more than one. I don't know. It just seems like it was a very expensive squad, so I cut it out of there.
All right, so those are the creatures you cut out to make room for your token boys. What
Token
else are
boys.
we cutting out?
We're just gonna get rid of a couple more things. We're getting rid of 2 sorceries and artifact vehicle. So we're gonna get rid of Deploy to the Front, Exterminatus, and Knight Paladin. Deploy to the Front is 5, a white and a white for sorcery. Put X/1/1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield, where X is the number of creatures on the battlefield. So this to me just kind of seems like I win more, right? And again, I'm only going to be drawing the 1 card since it's 1 or more. Unfortunately, not just every time you get 1. So I didn't really think I needed this. Like if I'm already having a shitload of cards or a shitload of tokens or whatever I'm doing. So yeah, this just seems like I said, the win more, and I guess you could be baiting out a board wipe at this point. But like this deck is 100% the you're gonna board wipe me, but then I'm gonna replenish. So I just didn't think it was necessary. And then speaking of board wipes, Exterminatus, 5 and a white and a black for sorcery. It says non-land permanents your opponents control lose indestructible to end a turn. Destroy all non-land permanents. So that's kind of cool. Gets around indestructible clause. Um, my thought process though here is that I think this deck is the deck that's going to get board wiped. I'm not going to be board wiping probably as much. I'm just going to build up a crazy deck. You guys are going to board wipe me, and then I'm going to build it up again. So, and I needed to make a little bit of room, so I cut it out of there. Regardless of how cool the art looks, I kind of sad, yeah.
A couple 7 mana top end cards.
Yeah, just casual. And then to round it out, Knight Paladin that I said, it is 5 mana for a artifact vehicle. It's a 6/6, and it says when it enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to each opponent, and it has a crew of 1. So it seemed cool, but the 4 damage is kind of just like 4 damage. It's not that much.
Pretty meh. It only does it
It
one time.
Yeah, and in the EDH when your life is so high, it's kind of whatever. It does have the crew of 1, which is really cool, but then, like, I'm guessing it's gonna die, and it doesn't really care about token boys, so I guess token boy could have crewed it, but I don't know, I just got rid of it. I had to make room.
Yeah, that makes sense. And wrapping it up, you added some lands. Which ones are we taking out?
I kinda did what you did, bud. That really, really good land card called Ash Barrens, I got it out of there. So
Wow.
so we cut Ash Barrens, and then we basically cut every other not every other, but, they had a bunch of lands that came in the battlefield tapped. I tried to get
Hmm.
as many of those as I could out. So I cut Scoured Barrens, Dismal Backwater, and Tranquil Cove. They all just come in the battlefield tapped. Um, let's see, I think they all gain you a life. So they all gain a life, and then they tap for the respective colors. But the whole coming in the battlefield tapped makes me sad.
Just a
So I
little
cut
too
them.
slow.
Just
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah, just a little bit. So I cut them
Your
for the bottom
bond
lands.
lands
Yeah,
so much faster.
oh, so much, dude. And I did only add the 3 and I cut the 4, so I am going down 1 mana or 1 land. It was originally 37, but since you saw that I cut a bunch of the top end, the average mana cost of the deck is much lower. So I went to 36 lands.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, baby.
So that's gonna do it for you. Let's talk about your total. What are we looking at as far as the ads of this deck? Gave you $100. What do you got?
Yep. As of the recording of this video, I did go over a smidge, and I spent $101. I'm sorry. But hey, I had to get an OD per session in there. I had to get Smothering Tithe in there. There were just some must needs, okay? Forgive me.
All right, I'll give you the extra dollar.
Thank you.
But that's gonna be it. You got any final thoughts you want to say about this deck as a whole before we take it off?
I am just like I said in the beginning, man, so excited to play this 40K deck. I know nothing about 40K. I think I even told you guys immediately after it was announced, dude, let's play 40K, and you both said, or everyone just said, no, it's way too expensive. So I was like, okay, I got kind of sad. But hey, I'm interested. It looks amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah, I am too. Stay tuned for our pre-con battle of our $100 upgrades, as well as all of our upgrades for our $300 lists. Those are becoming soon as well, and we're doing a pre-con battle for that as well. Also, if you want to check out Shane's entire deck list, please look in the description down below where you'll find the Moxfield account, where his deck list is located. And also, if you haven't done so already, like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and leave a comment down below telling us if you liked these changes. What would you have done differently? Do you like his removals? Let us know. And follow us on our Instagram and Twitter. That is at Guys That Magic, where we post stuff there as well. Until the next video, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Later.